In this video, believe it or not, I'm going to show you some pickups. A show report, some pickups, and I bet you haven't heard this one. Hey everybody, Bruce, Diamond Gems 45. Happy Sunday to you. It's a beautiful Sunday morning here in southwestern Indiana. Set up at the local Newburgh, Indiana American Legion show. It went on Friday afternoon and all day Saturday. And let me tell you, it was humping. It was packed both days. Neil gets the people in the door, folks. If you want to set up, that first time, you'll be amazed at how good the attendance is at the shows. Normally Friday is kind of sparse as far as the crowd is concerned, but this Friday, I guarantee you, normally maybe 50-60% of the tables are taken up by dealers that can come both days. But this time it was 80-90% of the tables were taken up by dealers that are going to make it both days. A lot of these dealers that come to shows in Evansville and Newburgh have jobs and they can't really set up that much on Friday. But it was about 80-90% table filled, and of course 100% on Saturday, and the people showed up. There was rain early in the morning. On Saturday, I don't know if that canceled a lot of ball games or anything, but people were there. So that's all you can ask for. Neil gets them through the door. Also, there was a, let's just call it a plumbing mishap. And instead of waiting around for the janitorial personnel at the American Legion to take control of the situation, Neil just, I hate to use this phrase, but Neil just dove in, got it done, fixed it best he could, and we went from there. So that took a lot of, let me, without explaining it to you, it's a plumbing problem and it got fixed. So no big deal. Whole lot of pokey, as Matt from Providence would say. A lot of modern. But if you had vintage, you had some vintage there, you did well. I did well. Neil, Wade, my good friend, sets up from Owensboro, did well. Met a new guy, Bryce, dealer there. We did some business together. So all the vintage people did pretty well. Just thankful for a little extra national money, even though I made some pickups. And let's get to those now. This is where in the video you turn it back from 150 speed, 1.5 speed, down to normal speed. You know who you are. Turn it back to normal speed now, because I'm going to show the pickups. So here they are. 4 cards, one of which is going to be a personal collection. But anyway, I bought a nice Pete Rose in an SGC 5. Led the league in hitting that year. There's the back. Really nice looking for an SGC 5. Led the league in hitting and runs scored in 69er. And then, of course, the next year they went on to the World Series. There's Pete from 69. It's going into the inventory. Another inventory pickup. Here's Lou Brock in a mint 9. PSA mint 9. Here's the back of said card. Lou. He led the National League in steals, but every year between 66-ish and 74, except for one year, and it was this year, 1970. And I believe the leader was ex-Cardinal Bobby Tolan that year. So here's the Lou Brock in a 9. It's going into inventory. Last inventory pickup is Bob Gibson in an SGC 5. And 70s, the stats are easy to read. Let's face it. This was Bob's second and last Cy Young year, 1970. There you go on Bob in an SGC 5. And the pickup for the personal collection, I got another Lou Brock card for that. 73 in a PSA 8.5. There's Lou. Next to last year, he would ever lead the National League in steals. There's the back, and there's that one's going in the personal collection. Anyway, like I said, great day for vintage there. You know, vintage held its own, like I said. Chris, Pine Tar Baseball Cards, came by the table. Like and subscribe. We did some business. William of Hick Sports Cards, like and subscribe. He came by. We chatted it up for a while. Like I said, Wade, my friend from Owensboro, just a little bit east of here, set up there and had a lot of good stuff to peruse if you care to. Something that that's just I've noticed in setting up now and when I first started to set up way back in the late 80s, early 90s is the pre-show setup. Back then, vendors would go around to like every table and, you know, just at least say hi, you know, and introduce themselves maybe. Look at what you have and that type of thing. And I've noticed that that doesn't happen much anymore. A couple came by, but it just doesn't happen much at all anymore. I think my theory is back in the late 80s, you know, there was less of a dividing line, a DMZ, so to speak, between modern and vintage and Pokemon. First of all, there was no Pokemon back in the late 80s. And I think everybody had a mix back then of modern, which would be, you know, like a Don Mattingly rookie, and, you know, vintage. And I think that might be the deal, because I see dealers go buy other tables, but they just don't go buy every table anymore. And you have, you know, setup was at 8 and the show didn't open till 10. You had plenty of time to go by and look around. I'm there by myself. Of course I have locking display cases and I can lock them up. And, but I try to get by at every table and just look see what everybody has. And, you know, you may come across, and know you've done it because I've done it. Come across a guy that's basically a modern guy, 99% modern. Here's this Clemente card, let's say, that sticks out like a sore thumb and it's in decent condition, and he's more than happy to sell it. So it can just be modern only, or vice versa. You know, depends on what you're looking for. Now, interesting little back and forth Saturday afternoon, I guess it was around 2 o'clock-ish, maybe a couple hours left to go in the show. Fellow about my age comes in and has a 1966 Mickey Mantle in an SGC 4.5. And, you know, he asked if I'd like to take a look at it. And I said, sure, I'll take a look at your card. And especially if it's Mantle, even like I call, you know, that type of Mantle card, entry level. It's entry level. It's a Mickey Mantle. So sure, I'll look at it. So I was looking it over and I asked, do you know how much you want out of this? And he said, well, I don't really have to sell it. So, but I know what they're asking for it on eBay. Well, You don't really have to sell it, but you know what they're asking for it on eBay, and I guarantee you it's going to be what the one guy that asked the most for it on eBay. And I tried to explain to him, well, you know, you could start there, but a good starting point is let's agree on a completed sale. Let's start from there and let's figure out our price from there. Well, here's the one I've never heard before. He said, well, you can't do that because the people in the car parts industry set the price of car parts in their catalog, and they're just, you know, inflating them so high that, you know, just it does them good and nobody else. This is it's not a brake pad, it's a 1966 Mickey Mantle in an SG 4.5. What is it? Completed sales somewhere 400, 500 maybe. I didn't know, I didn't have a comeback for that one, except for, you know, this is usually how people agree on a starting price when they want to sell a car. It's a completed sale and a percentage of such completed sale. Now we can use eBay, we could use 130 point, we could use VCP, whatever you want to do, but we're comparing brake pads to baseball cards here, so to speak. And I'd never heard that one. And just wondered if you've heard the car part analogy like I have. But suffice to say, we didn't make a deal, and I don't know if he left with the card or not, but I saw him leave, and good luck. So it's the way it goes. Anyway, glad you stuck around this long. I've been over almost 13 minutes now, so a long one for me. So look, thank you if you came by my table yesterday and said hello. A lot of people did. And especially thank you if you bought something for me, like Chris at Pine Tar Baseball Cards. Like and subscribe. And heck, enjoy your Sunday. Enjoy all the live streams tonight like I will. And that's all my time this time. Till next time, so long for just a while.